earlier I made the statement that the shoulder turn in the backswing creates and controls 15 things or 15 elements. Explanar is designed to help your shoulder movement. At address, you're static. It's a position. That's the last time I'm going to use the word, because once we have a set of position, we've got to then morph into movement. And that's tough, because you're static, and then in a nanosecond, the shoulders should be turning. But most of you at home under pressure and on tour, under pressure, that goes first, and we're in jeopardy. The shoulder must ignite. Now, if I just take my 6-iron here, and I have poor posture and poor grip, and I turn my shoulder under my throat, I'll be shanking it for England. However, if you go to the trouble of a meticulous pre-shot routine, the left shoulder to the throat is 15 good things. So let me just take you through them. The left shoulder is your swing plane and your swing path. It also creates your widest arc. When the left shoulder coils, both shoulders coil and twist, and the shoulder goes under the throat. When the left shoulder goes under the throat, the torso, core, hips, legs, knees, feet, weight transition, knee flex are all dealt with. When you load the left shoulder, your arms roll and rise to plane and your wrists cock. When you turn your left shoulder, you know how long your backswing should be, and you also know what pace. So there we have it. You set yourself up beautifully, and you get Explanar to teach the motor skill of the left shoulder hitting the throat. That's the key. One of my favourite little explanations of shoulder coil involves using a £20 note. In the old days I did this with a comb, but as I don't have a comb anymore, I have to use a £20 note. Happily I've got a black belt in origami. So there we have it. I've folded the £20 note, and what I'm going to do is show you that the top of the note is your shoulders, the middle is your hips, and the bottom is your feet. So if I twist the top through 90 degrees, can you see what happens? Everything responds right through, and the curve is amazing. So the twisting is so beautifully controlled, there's no damage done. And it means that intellectually and physically, if your posture's good and you load your shoulders, everything from the chest down is automatic. You should never really feel yourself worrying about what your torso, hips, legs, knees and feet do. If your posture's good and you've turned the shoulder, the answer is they've done what they should. So let's look at a drill for the shoulders that doesn't involve the Explanar. I would just take nice posture, upright, and I would put the club across my shoulder line. So now in effect my body is that £20 note, and we're going to twist in a very precise way. It would be no good if I swayed, that wouldn't be a coil. It would be no good if I tilted, because that wouldn't be a coil. But when you coil the shoulders, when you twist the shoulders to 90 degrees, your torso, your core, your hips, your legs, your knees, your feet, and your weight shift are dealt with. And then you come out through, and you're staying in a horizontal plane. You can then lean forward, and you can coil and get the club over your right foot. When you come through, you'll get the club over your left foot. So you're looking for range of motion, 90 degrees in the backswing at least, and 180 coming through. So that's a very, very simple drill. If you wanted to do it just like a gym exercise, you could stand in front of a mirror, put your arms out, and just practice. See if you can turn and keep your arms in the same plane. You'll find that initially you won't, but the trick is to load in a good plane back and through. So try that at home in front of a mirror, see if you can do it, okay? What I'm showing you is, if the posture is good, this shoulder coil operates everything in the swing, and then that simplifies it for you. So let's go back to the power roller with Explanar, resting it here, just testing, making sure, explain it through my upper sternum. So it's not the wrists, it's not the forearms, the ignition is in the left shoulder. So I'm twisting the shoulder line, and as I go back, the shoulder's concentrated. That's 2/3. Okay, I'm going to let the wrist hinge now. There's full wrist hinge. When I come through, I hinge again. It's counterintuitive, but wrist hinge creates accuracy. If you turn and your wrists are stiff, particularly golfers in their 60s and 70s, they don't hinge the wrists, then you're going to flip the ball left and right. If as your shoulder turns, the wrist hinge to 90, then you've got everything you need. So here we go. I load the shoulder, and then I hinge the wrist. Now we're not going to play golf in 2 moves, I know you're mad. The skill is in the mix. As the shoulder ignites, the wrist hinges to 90. Trick question. How many degrees does the wrist cock through in the backswing? The answer is they hinge or cock through 45 degrees. Okay, so if I turn sideways to show you, how many degrees do the wrist work through? Well, the answer is they work through 45 to achieve 90. If the club was up your sleeve, you'd be looking for 90. So the shoulders cock through 90, the wrist cock through 45. But if you see the 45, that gives me 90, and there's the shoulder turn. As I said earlier, if you do those two well, the forearms rotate through 90 as well. So you've only got 2 elements to worry about, shoulder and wrist, and then the forearms are for free.